a question that I've taught and I believe and I try to apply in my life every day I go to work, a question I ask myself every day I go to work, or try to. I'm not going to tell you I'm always good at this. How can I add value to my people? You want a great purpose question for every day you go to work? Because again, remember, it needs to be about our people ultimately. How can I add value to my people? So when Major Kish comes to work every day, and the people that he's responsible for, the people he has influence over in Marietta, if he asks that question, and that's part of his purpose, how can I add value to my people? Think about that. Think about what an impact that's going to have not only his direction as a leader in the organization, but on the people he has influence over. Like, wow, my boss comes to work every day, and their purpose, their passion, is me. What an impact that would have and does have. And I know some of you out here, and some of you are doing this already anyway. So you create it. Give me a purpose statement. Second one, share purpose. Create a shared purpose. You create a purpose for yourself. You create a purpose for your people. This gets into mission and values, and you can call it different things, but ultimately our job as leaders is to help create purpose, passion, direction for our people. I had a captain at the time who's one of my majors now. When I came back to Alpharetta the second time in our first command staff meeting, he said, man, we got all these talented people. And we did. I knew a lot of the folks from being there from before. And he said, we got all these great people, but it's like we're on this boat floating aimlessly with no direction. And I was like, wow, that's gold, Jerry. That's like lights came on. We got to have a mission. We got to have a purpose for the department as well. And so part of my passion, part of my purpose needs to be to create purpose and direction for my people. Because again, when the crap's hitting the fan and we're seeing riots and COVID and whatever else is going to come along in the future, that's when my job is to help keep them focused on their passion and their purpose, right? And on what matters. The mission, the values. Too many departments don't utilize mission statements and vision statements and values. And I know sometimes it's just words on a paper, but we as leaders can make it more than that. So you create one for yourself. You create a shared one for your department. And then ultimately, everything you do needs to be about your purpose. Like our mission statement in Alpharetta is to enhance the quality of life of those that live, work, and play in Alpharetta. All right, quality of life, that's been used 1,000 times. I'm sure I probably even stole that subconsciously somewhere from somebody else. But we make everything about quality of life. So my purpose statement every day I come to work is, how can I enhance the quality of life of those 250 employees that come to work for the Alpharetta Department of Public Safety? And so every decision I make, I'm saying theoretically, I'm not telling you I'm always good at it, but every decision I make should be about that purpose. So that means everything I'm doing, small, big, or in between, somehow, some way, I need to be utilizing a matrix that reminds me of my purpose of how is this going to affect and impact my people. That needs to be what's in front of me. And so if you have a purpose statement, it can be the greatest purpose statement ever. But if you don't use it and you don't apply it in your leadership, it's not doing anybody any good. So create a purpose statement, create purpose for your people, and then lead with purpose. And then finally, communicate purpose over and over and over again. I get a chance on the side to teach for a command president's a company that does training for law enforcement, and I get to go talk about leadership around the country, and I love it because I learn so much from people, and I've learned so much from other great leaders. But you know what the number one complaint is always about their bosses? The number one complaint across the board in law enforcement in this profession is lack of communication. It's always communication. I see a bunch of heads nodding. Yep, it's one of the hardest parts of leadership. And so one of the greatest things that we can communicate day after day after day is the purpose. Our purpose, the purpose of the organization, why we exist. Patrick Lencioni is one of my favorite leadership authors. He's got a ton of books. If you're not familiar with him, I'm telling you, I recommend him. He calls it the Chief Reminding Officer, the CRO. We should be a CRO, constantly reminding our people of what matters, of our purpose, of our values, of why we're here every day. So that's 4 simple things. Purpose statement for yourself, create purpose for your people, be sure you're utilizing that purpose in your decision making and what you do day in and day out in the organization, and then constantly communicate purpose with your people.